Hey guys, the Supreme Court just flipped the switch on LA. They lifted restrictions on ICE immigration raids, meaning they'll stop and snag are back in action. ICE agents can go back to stopping people at parking lots, car washes, at street corners again. Supporters call it enforcing the law. Critics call it racial profiling with sirens. Okay, now let's get into the facts, the chaos, and what this ruling really means. I will be unbiased, for real. So here's the setup. In July, Judge Manfun Payne, important to know that she's a first-generation American, parents are immigrants from Ghana, and a Biden appointee, had ruled that ICE was violating the Constitution. She said there was a mountain of evidence that agents were stopping people for just looking Latino or speaking Spanish or doing manual labor. This judge blocked ICE from using those factors as the only basis for a stop. That covered nearly 20 million people in LA County, almost half identifying as Hispanic or Latino. But today, the Supreme Court conservative majority who ruled 6-3 hit pause on her order. No full explanation, but Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote in a concurrence saying that the judge went too far. He argued that race and language can be part of a larger picture of reasonable suspicion. And on the other side, there's Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who's a first-generation American, and her parents are from Puerto Rico. She disagreed hard, warning that this decision needlessly suggests countless of people of indignities, like being grabbed and handcuffed for just their accent. And remember, this isn't the final verdict. The full case is still being played out in California courts. And here's where it gets wild. ICE already made 5,210 arrests in LA since June 6th. And remember, guys, one raid had ICE agents literally jumping out of the back of a rented box truck at a Home Depot. And that's not Fast and Furious. That's immigration enforcement of 2025. And some of those detained turned out to be U.S. citizens, like Brian, filmed yelling, "I was born here in East LA, bro." While handcuffed, he was free 20 minutes later, but the damage? Some don't see it as any. DHS praised the raids, saying they got the worst of the worst out. Plaintiffs and advocate groups say otherwise. They argue citizens and legal residents are being treated like suspects for just being in the wrong spot. That's why this case got even this far. This is bigger than LA. The Justice Department called Judge Finpon's restrictions a straitjacket on enforcement. They argued that ICE needs flexibilities to hit quotas and meet Trump's mass deportation agenda. And yeah, there's been a talk about 3,000 arrests per day target. The White House denies, but Trump advisor Stephen Miller bragged about it on Fox News. Online, the split is brutal. Pro-enforcement side says, finally ICE can do their job. If you hear illegally, don't be surprised. And another one here says, quit calling it profiling. It's just common sense. And the critics fire back right here. Now we speak in Spanish is a crime? Another one says, this ruling makes every Latino in LA a suspect. And another one said, Home Depot should start selling bail bonds next to the hammers. Now that's wow. And immigrant advocates say this isn't just targeting undocumented people, it's targeting brown skin and day labor as criminal evidence. That's why protests are already ramping up in LA. So here's the bottom line. The Supreme Court just gave Trump's immigration crackdown another win. ICE can resume wide paroles in LA, but the case isn't over in California. Courts will still rule on whether it's constitutional long term. Supporters say it's about restoring law and order in a city with millions of undocumented residents. And critics say it's racial profiling that even U.S. citizens can't escape. I'm just laying out both sides with no spin. What do you think? Is this enforcing the law? Or is it constitutional overreach? Thanks for watching.